The Strategist-Manipulator. This is a villain who sees the apocalypse as a chessboard. Immediately, they begin building complex plans to seize control over survivors. Imagine Light Yagami from Death Note or Lelouch from Code Geass in a zombie world. They wouldn't rush into battle with the undead. Oh no, they wouldn't try to destroy them directly. Instead, they'd gather information, find weaknesses in groups of people, and use fear as a tool. This type of character quickly understands one terrifying truth. The real threat isn't the dead, it's the living, who in panic are ready for anything, and that's exactly what he exploits. What sets him apart? He builds systems, creates false shelters, spreads disinformation, pits survivor camps against each other. He turns chaos into order, but an order where he sits at the top, and his victory seems inevitable, not because of strength, but because he's 3 moves ahead of everyone else. The power-hungry Conqueror. This is the type who perceives civilization's collapse as an opportunity to build an empire from scratch and rule without the constraints of the old world. Characters like Frieza from Dragon Ball or Madara from Naruto in such a scenario would gather an army of survivors through force or promises of protection. They'd seize resources, territories, and treat zombies as an annoying obstacle rather than the main problem. Their goal isn't to survive, it's to dominate, which is why they quickly start wars with other groups even when it's irrational. What distinguishes them from the strategist? Openness, directness. They don't hide, they announce their intentions, they demand submission. Such a villain creates conflict not just with zombies, but turns survival into a struggle for freedom, where people are forced to choose between safety under his rule or the risk of resistance. The tragic idealist. This is a villain who sincerely believes the old world deserved its destruction, and the apocalypse, it's a chance to start everything right. Pain from Naruto or Eren Yeager from Attack on Titan in a zombie world might try to create a utopian community with harsh rules where the weak are sacrificed for the greater good. Or they might believe that humanity must evolve through suffering. Their methods are cruel, but themselves suffer from their decisions. They may even doubt, which makes them dangerous and unpredictable. What sets them apart from the Conqueror? They need not just power, they need justification, a philosophy that explains why their path is the only correct one. You can't simply negotiate with such a villain. He's ready to die for his idea, and this makes him simultaneously understandable and terrifying. The chaotic psychopath. For this type, the apocalypse is the best thing that could have happened, because all rules are cancelled and you can do anything. Hisoka from Hunter x Hunter or similar characters wouldn't build plans, wouldn't create empires. They'd simply enjoy the chaos, kill for entertainment, play with survivors, sometimes help them, sometimes betray them, and they'd be impossible to predict. Zombies? A new toy for them. They might even experiment with them, use them as weapons, or just watch them devour people. What distinguishes them from the idealist? The cold rationality and methodicalness. They don't kill for pleasure, they kill for data. Their actions can make the situation even worse, turning a manageable nightmare into something completely new, and stopping them is difficult because they're always one step ahead in understanding the threat. The scientist-experimenter. This villain sees zombies not as a threat, but as research material, and the apocalypse, to him, is an ideal laboratory without ethics committees. Orochimaru from Naruto or Mayuri Kurochuchi from Bleach in such a world would capture the infected, study the virus, conduct experiments on the living and the dead. Their goal? To understand the nature of infection and possibly improve it. They can create new strains, more dangerous zombies, or try to gain control over them. And for them, people are just as expendable as the undead. What distinguishes them from the psychopath? The cold rationality and methodicalness. They don't kill for pleasure. They kill for data. Their actions can make the situation even worse, turning a manageable nightmare into something completely new, and stopping them is difficult because they're always one step ahead in understanding the threat. The Ideological Fanatic. This is the type who interprets the apocalypse as a divine punishment or a test. He believes that only those who follow his teachings deserve salvation. Such a character gathers followers, establishes strict rituals and rules, and anyone who doesn't obey is declared a heretic or sinner. Zombies, for him, are tools of higher powers. He might even refuse to kill them, considering it interference with fate's will, or conversely, organize purges in the name of faith. What distinguishes him from the idealist? His philosophy isn't rational, it's based on faith. dogma, and often on fear of punishment. His influence on people runs deeper. He doesn't just control their actions, he controls their thoughts. And even after his death, followers can continue his work. The immortal or regenerating villain. This is a character who physically cannot die or recovers from any damage. And for him, the zombie apocalypse is just another era he'll outlive. Muzan Kibutsuji from Demon Slayer or Alucard from Hellsing in a zombie world wouldn't fear infection, wouldn't fear hordes of the dead. They could calmly walk among them because they're no threat to them. Their goal can be anything from simple survival to building a new world, but the key thing is time, and they can wait until everyone else dies or weakens. What distinguishes them from other villains is patience and lack of urgency. They're not in a hurry because they know that in the end, only they will remain. Such an enemy is impossible to defeat by conventional methods. The only way to stop him is find a weakness he might not know about or seal him away forever. The Puppetmaster from the shadows. This is a villain who never shows himself directly, but controls events through intermediaries, rumors, and manipulation. Aizen from Bleach or Makima from Chainsaw Man in a zombie scenario could lead several survivor groups simultaneously, pitting them against each other, or use zombies as weapons, directing hordes to needed locations. Their power lies in information and in the fact that no one knows who they are or where they're located, so even if their plans are exposed, finding them is nearly impossible. What distinguishes them from the strategist, complete anonymity and multi-layered plans. They're not just 3 moves ahead, they're playing several games at once, and each group thinks it's acting of its own free will. Fighting them turns into paranoia. Anyone could be their agent, any decision could be part of their plan, and even victory might be a trap. The social Darwinist. This is the type who considers the apocalypse natural selection in action, and his goal is to create a society where only the strongest survive. Stain from My Hero Academia or Garou from One Punch Man in a zombie world would arrange trials, select people by physical and mental qualities, and ruthlessly eliminate those who don't meet their standards. Zombies for them, the perfect filter. Whoever couldn't survive didn't deserve to live. They might even deliberately create dangerous situations to test people, and their logic, cold and consistent. What distinguishes them from the Conqueror, they don't need an army of the weak, they want an elite, and are ready to sacrifice quantity for quality. Their methods are effective in the short term, but destructive to humanity, and the conflict with them, a debate about what's more important, survival at any cost, or preserving what makes us human. The cult leader. This is a villain who uses the apocalypse to gather desperate people around himself and turn them into fanatical followers, ready to do anything for him. He promises salvation, protection, meaning in chaos, and people cling to this because the alternative is loneliness and death. His power doesn't rest on strength, but on psychological dependency. He becomes their god, their father, their only hope. He can use zombies in rituals, declare them sacred or cursed, and his teachings are often irrational, but that doesn't matter to those who already believe. His followers are the most dangerous part. Even if you kill him, the cult can continue to exist, and freeing people from his influence harder than winning in battle.